things happen for a reason. Anything that happens to you is actually happening for you. It's amazing because I just did a little tour around here, and there was one of these towers that was actually made for one of the monks to write all the scriptures. And then what happened here in Siena, there was an earthquake, and it put a crack right down the middle of this building. And here's the interesting thing about this. They were devastated. They were like, oh my God, we've spent all this money building all this, and it's from one of the first monks that came from India to here to Siena. And what happened is 40 years on from there, another earthquake happened, but this time that crack that was in the middle basically mended the whole building. So what is the lesson here? The lesson is that whatever happens to you is happening for you at the time. How many of you believe that the universe will always start giving us signs? There's always things that come into our life, and we keep seeing more of it. I don't know if any of you are superstitious, or maybe some of you are very spiritual, but I believe that the universe is guiding us. There is a higher power that is guiding us to the destination that we need to be at the time. So when I look back to what happened to that building 40 years on, and actually what the archaeologists, when they looked at the foundation, you know the Humpty Dumpty walls, when you balance this thing on a ball and it goes like this, now what happens to that building, if there's another earthquake, it's just going to sway, it's not going to collapse. I've had a lot of people in my life, there were friends that came in, right? Friends in quotation marks. And one of these friends I've known for over a decade, and over time I see that personality change, and to know that this person was an ethical person. So for me, I should have seen that earlier. But it happened, again, not to me, it happened for me, because the universe said, look, we got bigger plans for you. It's kind of like when I was in that sort of partnership, I was kind of getting held back. You know, when I knew, I don't know if any of you feel that there's a bigger calling inside every single one of you. You know that whatever you're doing, you ask yourself this question, there's got to be a better way, there's got to be a faster, quicker way. And sometimes there's people in our life that hold us back. You know, these people could be very close to us, very, very close. Some of these people could be family members. A friend of mine once said to me, John, there are two types of people in your life. You have red lighters and you have green lighters. I said, well, Bill, what's a red lighter? He said, red lighters are people that if you write down all their names, put red next to them, these are your negative people. These are people who pretend to be your friends. These are people who give you bad or fake advice, and these people don't have your best interest at heart. And you know the real people who have the best interest at heart, because they really want to support you. They want to be there to guide you along the way, and no matter what happens, they still love you. These are the people that know all your weaknesses, know all your flaws, know everything bad about you, but they still love you, they still support you. That's a real friend. Now the green lighter, like you'll tell them an idea and they'll be like, John, that sounds like a really crazy idea, but if anyone can do it, it's you. These green lighters are there to support us along the way. The red lighters will be people like, you know, they'll say, you can't do it, be realistic. And then what happens is 10 years later, they see that you succeed. They go, you know what, I always knew you had the potential. For me, I just want you all to start realizing that there are people in our life that are serving us, and there are people in our life that are not serving us. And also, when things happen to you, they're actually happening for you. One of my friends said to me, and one of my early mentors said, John, one door has to close in order for another door to open. When I say that, some of you may be in relationships that you may not be liking right now. Maybe some of you are doing something that goes against your integrity, that goes against your authenticity. And you can start seeing these things. We start to raise our level of consciousness. And sometimes it has to happen to you once, twice, 3 times, and for you to get burned, for you to really get that lesson. How many of you can relate to what I'm saying to you right now? There's 3 things that come to mind when I think about how do we turn these coincidences or these failures or these setbacks, and how do we thrive from that? The first thing is to accept that it's happening for us and not to us. When you do that, your whole mindset changes. Like for example, if I invest in something and I lose money, then maybe that's a lesson I need to learn there. Maybe my next deal I need to do more due diligence. I need to take more ownership. I need to stop being lazy when those deals come along and start putting some time and effort into it and putting that time aside. You see, the lessons happen for a reason, and that lesson is meant to happen to you at that time. The second thing that comes to mind is energy preservation, meaning that you've got to save the energy. Like a lot of you exert a lot of energy, you worry about the things that are not going to happen. And what I find is almost everything that you think about, small chance of it comes to fruition. Look at the word fear. We fear this, or we're doubtful of things. So the word fear means false evidence appearing real. We think about it, we put a lot of energy to it, but it doesn't actually come to fruition. Reserve that energy, because the energy to follow through, that's why they say the fortune is in the follower. Like you only have so much energy in a day. You only have so many thoughts in a day and processes that you can, like your mind can process. So don't waste that time on the things that, oh, why did this happen? This is disastrous. Think about, okay, the lesson. Think about why and what you can learn from that. And think about, the solutions to the things that just happened, because that will be more empowering than disempowering. The third thing, which is really important, and this one is the key, and you really have to look out for it. By the way, before I go into this, you got any questions, leave any questions below. And if you know anyone who's really struggling with something that's just happened, send this video to them, because I want them to know that it's supposed to happen not to them, but for them, for a reason. The universe has put those opportunities into the play, or put those opportunities that don't seem like opportunities at the time. The third one is you got to look out for the signs. These things keep coming into your life over and over again, or there's things that come in to basically resist it. Let's say right now you got a lot of bad people that come into your life, and there's people around you that keep telling you this person's a bad person, or don't do business with this person. It's a sign. The sign's not always obvious. Sometimes it's the little things that people do as well, and it's the little things, little traits or behaviors. In the Chinese tradition, we play this game called Mahjong. You're supposed to take your life partner back home to play Mahjong with your family, and that shows people your traits. Like, if they lose the game, do they go mad? Do they have high temper? Do they shout? Do they blame? Do they try and cheat in that game? And then there's a saying that says, how you do anything is how you do everything. So these are some of the lessons I really want to share with you when you get into that situation of, this has happened to me, it's actually happened for me, and learning the lessons on that will be way more empowering. That can really help you. And just remember that building I was showing you before. That building with that crack in the middle, earthquake happens, 40 years later, another earthquake sticks it together, and it has this really strong foundations. Sometimes you just have to trust the entire process and know that this is the way it's supposed to be, and at the end, everything will be okay. Check out this video here, and it'll help you really, really get to the next level.